How did this murder case begin?
He disappeared late evening. The next morning when she got up, he wasn't in the trailer. It was frustrating because we had no evidence of any type of crime. We had nothing, just a missing person.
They called 911 to report the body that they had found. Just the initial observation of his body, I did not see any apparent cause of death.
He had 2 gunshot wounds to him, .45 caliber. 1 round was still in his body, and 1 had severed his spine when it entered his body.
Why would somebody do this?
They had a long history with my father's family.
Hi, I'm Nancy O'Dell. Today's Crime Exposé takes us to the rural town of Rainier, Washington, where a man was reported missing by his girlfriend. His disappearance baffled investigators and all who knew him. There was no evidence of an altercation or even that a crime had been committed. But as police looked closer into the enigma of Clark Calquhoun, a killer's bravado changed the investigation. When informants dropped a dime on the suspect, police fought an uphill battle to get to the truth. On New Year's Eve, a woman reported her live-in boyfriend, 53-year-old Clark Calquhoun, hadn't come home from work after several days. The Thurston County Sheriff's Office responded and met Clark's girlfriend on the ranch property where he worked.
Tina reported her boyfriend missing. He disappeared late evening and never returned that night. And the next morning when she got up, she found he wasn't in the trailer.
Clark Calquhoun lived a gypsy life and had struggled with drugs in the past. His girlfriend told police it was unusual for him to have not returned by now. Detective Elkins inspected the couple's trailer, looking for a clue to where Clark had gone. What did you observe in their trailer?
He was the kind of person that had prized possessions. A pot pipe and his glasses, he never left without, and those were still in the trailer without Mr. Clark being there. It was not normal for him to go anywhere without those 2 prized possessions.
Clark's girlfriend, Tina, told Detective Elkins that she and Clark were about to head home at the end of the day when they were approached by a man named Jeremy Leininger. She said Clark had been installing fence posts on a property owned by Leininger's uncle. What did Mr. Leininger say to Clark?
He had asked Mr. Calquhoun if he would help him. They were all working on some fencing. Clark had stayed back to help Jeremy, and the others left in the vehicle. And that was the last time Tina had seen him, was that evening.
The Leininger family, they had a long history with my father's family, friendships that went decades back, and they had some ranching needs and a place for him to put his trailer and live on the property, and had him there helping with the cows and other fence mending and things that happen on a farm.
Days later, with no sign of Clark, police got a warrant and began to search the vast property. They suspected that he may have been the victim of a medical crisis and froze to death.
The property itself was vastly pasture, meadows, little patches of forest, but it equaled close to about 320 acres. And it had a beautiful view of Mount Rainier. We used actually canine dogs. They're cadaver dogs. In most cases, they would look for a body. Maybe he was deceased on the property somewhere. Unfortunately, we didn't find Mr. Calquhoun.
Detective Elkins spoke to anyone who had been in contact with the missing man looking for information on his whereabouts. He met with Jeremy Leininger, the last person to have seen Clark.
Jeremy said that he saw Clark on the tractor working with him with some fence posts. And the last time he saw him, he was walking down the road towards the front gate. It's about a mile down the road.
He was gonna go meet someone down at the gate. Said, "You got this by yourself?" "Yeah, I'm fine." Then he left.
He told you that he was gonna walk down to the front gate and meet somebody?
Yeah, he ain't driving my tractor down there.
However, others working on the ranch had different recollections of the last time they saw Clark. What did the others observe that day?
When I talked to Tina, the couple friends that were there, they said the same thing. When they got in the car and Clark stayed behind to help Jeremy, that actually Jeremy was on the tractor. So there was some inconsistency there.
Tina and others told the detective that Jeremy Leininger had made an allegation about Clark. She said Leininger claimed that Clark was a thief and had stolen drugs.
3 people told me, and his aunt told me, that Mr. Calhoun had stolen some money from him, stolen some marijuana from him. And when I brought those subjects up, they changed the story, he downplayed it.
Detective Elkins noted some inconsistencies in what Leininger said and moved on. Besides an account of some stolen pot, there were few leads in the investigation. How tough is it when an investigation stalls like this?
It was frustrating because you're pretty much at a stalemate. You don't have anywhere to go. We had no evidence of any type of crime, didn't have any proof of foul play. We had nothing, just a missing person.
Nearly a month passed since Clark had gone missing, and no one had any idea what happened to him. Meanwhile, a missing person report was sent to neighboring police agencies with a description of Clark Calquhoun. Then, 2 fishermen in a remote area of Washington made a grisly discovery on the Cowieman River.
They called 911 to report the body that they had found. When I got there, I saw a subject wearing no shirt. He was wearing blue jeans, and just the initial observation of his body, I did not see any apparent cause of death.
Looking closer, Detective Gladson noticed a turquoise ring on the left finger of the deceased male, and once back at the office, he checked the missing person flyer that had been received. It was a match.
A turquoise ring on the left ring finger for a missing person and a dead body was just not a coincidence. The person removed from the river was one of the same, and that was confirmed the next day through fingerprint analysis.
Clark Calquhoun had been found 70 miles from where he went missing. Police wanted to know how he ended up in the river and who was responsible. An autopsy would reveal how Clark died, but it led to more questions about who killed him and why.
He had 2 gunshot wounds to him, .45 caliber, 1 round was still in his body.
Thurston County Police, investigating the disappearance of Clark Calquhoun, now had an even greater mystery to solve. His body was discovered in a river 70 miles south of where he disappeared. Detective Elkins knew the autopsy would provide answers as to the manner of death. What did you learn from Clark's autopsy?
So I attended the autopsy with the medical examiner, and he had 2 gunshot wounds, .45 caliber, 1 round was still in his body, and 1 had severed his spine when it entered his body.
So what did this mean to your investigation?
Now we had a body, now we had evidence, now we could show that it was a homicide, and my suspicions that Jeremy was involved were at a more higher level because of the situation. We didn't have any suspects, even up until we found a victim in a crime. You're kind of back to square one because now you got to kind of start all over with the homicide aspect.
As I received news that my dad had been murdered, I was devastated. Why my dad? What had he possibly done that would even be deserving of this?
Police believed Clark was killed in Thurston County, and his body was dumped in the river in Cowlitz County. This meant 2 agencies were investigating the murder. They informed Clark's girlfriend, Tina, of his death.
When you tell somebody that, a significant other has been murdered, they should have a pretty obvious reaction. Well, she did. Well, she didn't do it. So you almost can eliminate her.
With Clark's girlfriend ruled out, the detectives re-interviewed everyone who was with Clark the day he went missing. Investigators spoke again with co-workers who overheard Jeremy Leininger's allegations of theft against Clark.
I later talked to several of Jeremy Leininger's friends, and I asked them, what would Jeremy be like if he found out you stole $5 from him? Oh, he'd come unglued. Yeah, he would be livid. He would be angry. He'd be upset. He's explosive. He's got a short fuse. I'm hearing all these things about Jeremy from the people that are closest to him.
The information painted Jeremy Leininger as volatile and dangerous.
I think he's letting people know that I'm a dangerous individual, that he's not fearful, that he's willing to kill if you cross him.
Because of Leininger's reputation, people around him were reluctant to speak to police. It took time, but a few began to share what they knew. What did the witness tell police that Mr. Leininger had said?
Supposedly, Jeremy and another were in a trailer talking about, it'd be easy to dispose a body on the property. Well, when confronted about that, Jeremy said, no, we were talking about cows, my uncle burying cows.
Did you believe that's what they were talking about?
When I had that interview with Jeremy, there was tell indicators, that he wasn't being truthful. He wasn't a suspect at this time, he was a witness, but it didn't make sense for him to be nervous, and indicated there was something more to it.
Then investigators got an anonymous call detailing violent boast Leininger had made.
This particular caller gave me the name of 2 people who knew about this murder, and I spoke with those 2 individuals. The male initially denied any knowledge, but he eventually admitted that Jeremy did tell him about the murder that he committed in Rainier, Washington, and that he dumped the body.
He told me what he did, and he had the dude come with him, and then he took him up wherever they went out in the woods. He shot him.
Detectives were now laser focused on Jeremy Leininger, but they still lacked evidence of murder. All they had was hearsay, but that soon changed. How did it change the scope of the investigation?
There was a breakthrough where we had a girlfriend that came forth, and she had provided information that her boyfriend was with Jeremy when all this went down, and basically we had to talk to him, and he wasn't cooperative.
So when you're talking to people like that, how do you get them to open up?
You have to figure out ways to get these people to cooperate in regards to finding evidence, because if you got evidence against one party that's involved, you kind of use them against them to find out what happened or what the motive was, and it took a while to finally get there.
The man's name was John Perry Clark. Police learned that he was a drug dealer and friend of Jeremy Leininger. And if the story could be corroborated, he was a co-conspirator in the murder of Clark Calquhoun.
He didn't have a choice, because if he did help him, he'd probably shoot him.
Investigators from 2 agencies identified Jeremy Leininger as a suspect in the murder of Clark Calquhoun. His loose lips alerted police that he killed Clark over a marijuana theft.
In my attempt to interview Jeremy, he chose not to talk to me, but he did choose to talk to numerous other people. And those people chose to talk to me. So it's not as great as directly hearing it from Jeremy himself, but it's great nonetheless.
There were strong allegations against Leininger, but the case needed more.
It wasn't 150.
$80 bucks.
It wasn't 250. It was 80.
But you are out $80. Someone took it.
Someone took it. It got lost. For all I know, it went and flew through the freaking glove box.
So at this point, did you believe that Mr. Leininger was your primary suspect?
So there's a lot of reasons why Jeremy was a suspect in this case, with there being a beef between him and Clark, him being the last person to see him alive. But at this point in time, we didn't have any strong evidence that he murdered him.
Police received a tip that local drug dealer John Perry Clark had witnessed the murder and helped dispose of the victim's body. So they subpoenaed phone records of both John Perry Clark and Jeremy Leininger.
The cell phone records show Jeremy Leininger was up at the 320-acre Rainier property at the time of the homicide. In the late hours of the night, Jeremy drives down to Calais County. He picks up his friend John Clark, and the phone records show them both travel all the way to the city of Kelso, which is where Clark Calhoun's body was found.
Detectives confronted John Perry Clark with the phone GPS evidence. It was enough to get him to roll over on Leininger.
A reasonable person, and we're all reasonable in this truck, would believe that Jeremy's involved with this murder. Is that a safe assumption? Okay.
So what did he say? What did John Perry Clark say had happened?
Jeremy had asked John Clark to go into the cab of the truck to get some marijuana, and Jeremy shot Clark in the back 2 times. And John said he freaked out, and Jeremy asked him to help him, and he felt he didn't have a choice, because if he didn't help him, he'd probably shoot him.
Police finally had the evidence they needed.
With the statements from John, we were able to go arrest Jeremy and book him for murder.
When I received word that Jeremy was arrested for the murder of my father, I felt relief. To be honest, there were days where I looked over my shoulder a little bit, wondering, where is this young man? He knows our family, and so where is he going to show up?
Jeremy Leininger's wealthy parents paid his bail of $2.5 million while he awaited trial for murder. Police say his own bravado was strong evidence against him. Jeremy Leininger was convicted of the murder of Clark Calquhoun. Although Leininger had told people he killed Clark for stealing marijuana, prosecutors doubted that allegation. They believe Leininger was simply evil, and that was little consolation to Clark's family and loved ones. This case revolved around drugs and intimidation of witnesses, and so often people know about a crime but are afraid to speak out. And breaking through that wall can be the key to holding a killer accountable. And now it's time for today's Safety Spotlight. Clark Calquhoun, known for his good-natured demeanor, was tragically murdered following a heated argument with a coworker. This devastating incident highlights that many violent crimes, from simple assaults to murder, often stem from disputes or disagreements. The key to preventing workplace violence is to recognize the warning signs and involve the appropriate resources as soon as possible. Timely notification and documentation of potential problems is essential. In confrontational situations, it is important to prioritize your safety over the need to win an argument. While standing your ground might seem tempting, it can lead to severe harm, especially when dealing with individuals prone to violence. De-escalate. If you sense that a confrontation is escalating towards violence, remove yourself from the situation. Allow emotions to cool down to prevent things from spiraling out of control. Pay attention to your intuition about people and environments. If a situation feels unsafe, it is best to withdraw and seek a safer environment. The Workplace Violence Prevention Helpline can be reached at 1-877-987-3747. I'm Nancy O'Dell. For all of us here at Crime Exposé, please join us next time and stay safe.